So I'll start with the realistic side. I don't remember who at the previous panel spoke about, walking around the streets of Tel Aviv and not feeling anything, or, and I live in Tel Aviv. And the people in Tel Aviv sometimes are very blasé, It's a wonderful city. It's a 24/7, and there are very few cities in the world that are really 24/7. I don't think that even New York is 24/7, okay? 24/7 is 24/7. You can eat very good food in Tel Aviv around the clock. Beautiful places, beautiful beaches, beautiful cafes that you can sit and, surf your internet and mind your own business, write your scripts for the next, reality show, or whatever. And you live in a bubble. And the only thing that concerns you is what Yael said at the beginning, is your bank account, and how to improve your apartment. So, and the occupation is over. For most Israelis, I think if you ask an average Israeli, the occupation is over. The Palestinians should mind their own businesses. We have the separation barrier that separate us from the Palestinians. There is no violence, thank God, right? No suicide bombs, no violence. Here and there you can hear something, in the background. And if you ask an average Israeli, I think, what is the notion of peace for him or her, they would immediately say security. So they can't even, imagine what peace means. And I must tell you, I must thank you, JSTREET. This is my first ever Israeli-Palestinian conference related issue that we don't have an ex-general as the keynote speaker to start. That frame the whole conference. And this is really, I'm saying it not as a joke, this is so refreshing, to frame this as a civil issue, because it's a civil issue. Because the peace or whatever agreement we will have, hopefully peace, with the Palestinians, is something that very much, relates to my own personal life. And I come from a family, my name is Saragusti, and Saragusti comes from a city in Spain. It's Saragossa. And my family came to Israel, Palestine, whatever you want to call it, 500 years ago. So this is my homeland in a very, very deep sense of the word. I don't have any other nationality. I don't have any other land to live in. This is my land. And so I care very much about that. So the fact that I joined B'Tselem, and B'Tselem is very controversial in Israel. It's not like here. Here I get so much energy from you. Everybody's smiling when I say B'Tselem. While in Israel, it's the complete opposite. So maybe this is why I came here, to get some strength after so many years of struggling and disappointments. So when you speak about human rights in Israel, it's considered to be an extreme left, almost anti-Israeli notion. And I wonder why. I mean, this is so embedded within the Jewish values, to respect everybody, as every human being. I mean, the word B'Tselem by itself comes from the Hebrew Bible, right? B'Tselem Elohim bara otam. In the image of God, they were created. Every human being is created with the image of God. We are all created equal. So what's so, troubling in talking about human rights? But the Israelis don't want to talk about that. So if they are, the very few people who read the Haaretz every morning, like myself, or maybe some of you, you are informed. But all the rest of the vast majority of the Israeli people don't know, they don't want to know, they don't read, they don't get the information, they don't look for the information. The information is out there. They're not looking for this information. It's a non-story for most of the Israelis. I say it with pain. And B'Tselem, if you know B'Tselem, if you ever surfed into or logged into our website, it has so much data and statistics and reports, and our reports are very credible. I mean, they are credible in the Israeli Defense Force, in the IDF. They are taken very seriously. And the Ministry of Justice, treat our reports very seriously. Nobody dispute the reports, the data and the statistics in the reports. It's very credible, but to say that it's out there, that the Israeli public is looking for this information, I very regretfully say no. And I'm a journalist. I mean, this is what was my only profession that I ever held. Although Professor Shalev was my professor for contract law when I studied law. And it's very much about wordings. When you speak about settlement, it's kind of isolated from the context. But the context of the settlements is the occupation. And the context of the settlement, in order to even start this enterprise of settlement, you had to kind of free, quote unquote, lands. So the lands are not coming from God. The lands belong to somebody. So I can tell you, for example, things that most Israelis don't really know, that now, as we speak, there are almost 7,000 Palestinians who are under threat of eviction in 3 different areas in the West Bank, southern hills of Hebron, in the Jordan Valley, and near Ma'ale Adumim, between Jerusalem and Ma'ale Adumim, because they want to free more land for the expansion of the settlements. Now, most Israelis don't do that, don't know that. And this is the flip, more dark side of this settlement enterprise. The term Admot Medina, state land, is also very confusing, because when you build a settlement on a state land, what does it mean, a state land? Which state is it? One tends to think that this is the state of Israel, right? Because there is only one state there. Wrong. It's not the state of Israel's lands. These are the public lands for the use of the Palestinians. Okay, so here is a very, clean kind of term that we tend to use in Israel, and I guess you use it too, to define, the lands in the West Bank, the lands of the occupation, and why not use it? If it's a state land, the state can decide what to do with the lands. No, it's wrong. The state cannot decide what to do with the land, because the lands are for the use of and development of its inhabitants, with the Palestinians' residents. Okay, so very small things that, puts in shade the meanings of the reality on the ground. When I came here, I listened to because I'm a journalist, and so I listened to the discourse here, and I paid attention to the fact that the majority of the American jury don't use the term occupation, because they don't want to fall into the left-right divide within the Israeli society. But occupation it's a legal term. It's not a political position. This is the reality. When you speak about the conflict, and this also, in the Israeli public discourse, if you speak about the conflict, you have the illusion as if there are 2 equal sides that have to come into terms with the dispute among them. But when you speak about the occupation, you speak about the people on the ground. And we, as B'Tselem, we see the people on the ground, on their daily struggle. And you know that an average Palestinian cannot decide his or her life. Any kind of life decisions cannot be taken without, being regulated by the army regulations. Who to marry, where to live, whether they can pursue an academic career, any kind of career, if they want to travel abroad, if they want to travel and visit relatives, if they want to relocate, If they have a newborn child, they have to register the newborn child. Every single thing of their lives is regulated by the army. Millions of rules. And most Israelis don't know that and don't care. And if they know it, they would justify it by saying, well, this is security. We need that to make ourselves safe from all kinds of hostilities and violence, etc., etc. But you know, you say in law, we have to balance. And where's the balance? So if you ask an average Israeli, they don't care, they think the occupation is over, they don't want to know what's going on there, and if from time to time they see a B'Tselem video or a B'Tselem story about, like was a few days ago, about the 4 girls who were detained because they ate cherries from one of the settlers' trees. 4 Palestinian girls by the age of 11 to 15 were detained because the settler was complaining that they were eating cherries from his tree. So if they see something like that, they say, well, this is very exceptional, right? This is not us. It's something, you know, that we have to denounce, and then we can continue with our lives. So I'm sorry to show the reality to you, and I'm sorry to be the pessimistic, but this is the role I took upon myself as an Israeli. I must be pessimistic. You are the optimistic ones, and you give us courage and power. Thank you.